It's called a promo,
Shut
kid.
your
And
mouth,
if you want to
John.
be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to do it. So go ahead.
You ready? No! I said, are you ready?
That was good. Glad you finally decided to pull that giant stick out of your butt and have some fun for once in your life.
You're uneducated marks! You sit there on your phones tweeting out your opinions like they're worth a damn. Let me explain something to you people. You don't know shit!
And I'd like to think that maybe this company will be better after Vince.
The fact that she waited right till the start. Be forewarned now, there's not a fight breaking out. Just on the other side of the studio door, there's a small baby kitten that really wants to be a part of this. But, unfortunately, she can't control her bowel movements, so she's not allowed in the studio. We're here to talk about Survivor Series, not baby kittens named Mako.
Adorable.
Did you get your drawing finished before we started?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I did the sketch. I don't know why.
You requested, I didn't listen.
But, we got our vibe. He had, like, the logo was, like, chopped on the screen. And, I don't know, I liked our vibe, so now I got our vibe.
I had no idea what you were talking about, even. Just like I have no idea where the notes went. We're just doing this one on the fly today. No, I'm kidding. I
was about to say, bro, I got the notes.
No
I got some notes.
at all. I tried to put no and notes together.
What?
First, before we even do Survivor Series, what do we want to talk about?
What do we want to talk about?
What do we want to talk about?
Well, I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about, but none of it's WWE.
Oh, then yeah, we have to limit it to a window.
My bad.
Even if it's not the WWE box, we gotta at least put it in the box of wrestling. I got a tweet that'll start a conversation. I don't care what anybody says, contrary to the belief. Shinsuke's new theme music slaps, and this was Friday night on SmackDown when I said this.
It took me a minute because we'll find later he kind of has a new theme.
I think it's just a thing if he has multiple new themes, and I'm with it.
I mean, he might one's for pay-per-views, one for not. But I was thinking, because last week's show was taped.
Yes.
So maybe it was like on the fly, we need something new and sinister for him.
throw some beat in it.
It was hard. It was great. I loved it.
Freestyle. I literally just said, I want to bust a freestyle. Now, the next tweet I have, how do we not just see the vision and put Final Testament versus Wyatt Six into War Games?
So, that's another one where a lot of people were saying that, and it was like, well, if you do that, then, I'm sorry, the Bloodline War Games was going to happen no matter what.
Yeah.
Then, they probably only want to do 2 War Games, so then the other idea was to get rid of the women's War Games. But then that creates a whole controversy of...
Yeah.
So it's like...
The women's War Games made the least amount of sense, but it would have been the worst idea to scrap that one.
Yeah, so it's like...
And can you do 3 War Games? If you limited 2 of them to 4-on-4, you could do 3 War Games, I feel like.
Yeah, but the story... That story has The Miz and the Final Testament, so
yeah.
Like you kind of have to do... Even then, like, you could have put them somewhere on the card. I don't know. Like that is a long-running storyline at this point.
Like they did Shield versus the Wyatt family at Elimination Chamber. It should have been in an Elimination Chamber, I always said. But at least it was on the card.
This sort of goes to another thing I was thinking about. I'm going to make this quick.
Yeah.
They weren't on the card, and the New Day, who has a really big storyline going right now, also have not been on pay-per-views for a while. Or PLEs for a while.
Tonight's the night that just everybody thinks New Day's breaking up, myself included. I don't know how you feel about it. It's like, if they swerve us and don't, that...
Why?
I just want that. Even Mako wants that, from what I can hear. At the end of that tweet, I said, very least, could have done something with the War Raiders. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but we already weren't making a lot of sense heading into it.
I mean, yeah.
Next tweet. Seeing way more people online talking about Collision tapings than Survivor Series, and that's not me saying that's good or bad, or... I'm not saying anything at all. I'm just saying that's what I was seeing. This was just during pre-show and early card. Of course, by the time Men's War Games comes around, you're trending.
Well, I wasn't on Twitter, so...
You're smart. You stay off of it.
I do, yeah.
That's the smartest decision I think anybody's made.
Thank God. I love you so much.
I don't particularly like watching the Facebook wrestling fans either. That's
A
man.
whole other can of worms, man. We're going on.
That's a whole episode. Like I could make a whole episode of Through the Table of just scrolling through Facebook comments and seeing,
God.
especially old boomer fans, just making wild comments, inappropriate. Now, another thing that people are talking about, Progress Defy had a great show this past weekend as well.
Yeah, they had was Onslaught New York, and they have Onslaught Chicago coming. Or by the time this goes out, it'll have happened.
Chicago.
Yeah, Car Noir's U.S. debut did not know that was.
I was going to say, I
case.
had no idea that was a thing.
He had a really good match against Ali. Ali gave him props afterwards. Loved it. Also on the card was Man Like DeReese versus Casey Navarro. A really good match. I recommend you go and watch it.
Everybody always recommends that guy. I just never watch him because of his name. I don't like his name. I hate it for some reason.
Which one?
Casey Navarro.
Yeah.
I cannot explain why I hate his name. It's nothing personal. It's just when I hear it, I'm like, ew. That's a gross name.
It's weird. Marina Shafir was also on the card.
Of course she was.
She had a pretty decent match. And also on the card, Rio, Progress Women's Champion, and Luke Jacobs, Progress Men's Champion. Both decent matches, but I would say Casey Navarro and Man Like DeReese stole the show for sure. DeReese looks like he's getting that world champion push. He's challenging for the title. So.
As I put little stickers on the ring over here.
Oh yeah.
This is the first time that you always bring up Progress and Defy on your own accord, but this is the first time you were permitted to talk about it. I was like, hey, specifically talk about this. And that's a good sign because that means they're doing great things.
Yeah, they really are.
They're doing things you want to talk about.
What do we want to talk
Another
about?
thing to talk about before we get to the pay-per-view, women's Intercontinental and U.S. titles. It's been a long time coming. It was kind of a really rushed decision, but at the same time is a long time coming. So anytime you want to rush that decision is welcome.
Like you were talking about the Facebook boomer fans, I think the boomer fans are also not vibing with the fact that there are so many belts now. And I get it, but okay, there's that image that's going around, right? And it's like, these are all the titles on the main roster. And at the very bottom are the speed titles. The speed titles do not count.
They don't count.
They are their own thing. And from what we understand, Netflix and USA both going to have their shows go to 3 hours, right?
Got you.
So there's going to be plenty
love that.
enough time to flesh out all these divisions. So I don't see the problem.
I don't love that at all.
I don't love it, but at the same time, it will give time for all these divisions to flesh out if they use it correctly.
I'm like Murtaugh from Lethal Weapon. I'm too old for this shit.
Same, though.
I'm too old. All right, let's get to the actual pay-per-view.
Let's go.
We survived it. It was a great time. Rhea's mask was awesome. I took some
was.
pictures.
When she came out, I was like, is she going to wrestle in that?
Mm.
I thought, and then my brother was like, she has a mask underneath. I'm like, okay.
Nah, bro.
No.
No, brother. She's wrestling in it. Bailey started the match for the Odd Squad, as I've entitled them. Going in, I had them labeled as the Odd Squad, and it stuck.
That's an interesting name. I think Bailey going in... To me, I saw Bianca because I think she has the best gas tank.
Oh, you mean the one who jumped Jade Cargill?
She couldn't have jumped Jade Cargill. She was literally in the ring when it happened.
I know. That's why I think that theory's funny.
I can't believe... I mean, maybe she hired someone, but that's a whole other story.
I'm interested in that story. If that goes somewhere, hey, call me. I'm interested.
Yeah.
Nia starts the match for her team, the champion team.
I also...
I had no name for them.
I didn't see that coming either. I don't know why. I guess Nia doesn't strike me as someone who can go a full, what was it, hour?
I mean, she did. Not a lot of people enjoyed it. A lot of, negative feedback came from that in the area of chair shots, especially. Things were said that were not good, but I'm not saying them myself. I'm just here.
I have things to say about it.
Wearing my Naito shirt. This is like a big
Yeah.
flex, just because I've never had a Naito anything, so
Let's go.
I love this shirt.
What was it? I can't do it with the glasses. But
That was.
yeah.
I can't because it hurts my eyeball. Match started out very slow and less fluid than normal.
Yeah, that was easy to
started
tell.
with Nia.
You
started with Nia Jax. What do you
don't,
expect?
and it permeates through like half of the match. It's really bad.
Naomi comes in second. with her birthday hat on and some unique weapons as well. A toilet seat and a rainbow-colored kendo stick.
Okay, kendo sticks are dime a dozen, but I love the toilet seat. I don't know
It was
why.
weird until she knew how to use it. The stink face with it over her... It's creativity. It's ingenuity. It's what I respect about pro wrestling. It's innovative. I'm going to literally shit on you. Not literally, unless... Okay. Another time. Another through the table.
That's for you freaks out there.
I mean, people shit their pants in the ring more than you think.
Yep.
Naomi just steady stays one of my favorite women to watch in the ring. Another tweet I sent
She is
out.
really good, yeah.
And sometimes I forget it too. Sometimes I'm sitting around, Naomi comes on, like, oh yeah, I feel the glow. I've been felt the glow.
It's the theme song. I mean, she's also really good in the ring.
I like the original theme. I like that first theme when I'm not the first. We're not funkadactyling or nothing like that. I mean her first feel the glow theme.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a good one, but I like this one too. I don't know.
Tiffany Stratton is supposed to come out next into the match, right? But Candice LeRae jumps in front of her to steal her spot, and she brings in chairs. I made notes of every time someone brought in weapons.
That makes sense because you'll see from here in the men's, didn't happen as much in the men's, I think. But what really got me is the fact that they're giving Candice something to do. They're actually giving Candice something, like a character and like an arc. Like, what is going on?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that for her, and I love that we can make a point of it finally. And here's something. This isn't in the notes or nothing. This is just something I said to myself yesterday or this past weekend. I miss Indy Hartwell, man.
I know, right?
I liked them as a tag team too. I liked the dynamic of like Indy doesn't want to do bad shit, but Candice kind of makes her do bad shit. And
yeah, I mean they kind of dropped it a while.
I know, it just.
And then they dropped her, and then yeah.
Indy was a special talent. I felt like she could have been.
Definitely. I guess the ankle injury did not help.
Let's call her. Get her on for an interview.
Let's do it.
Let's hire her. Let's have her work here. As most War Games matches go, the more women entered, the better and more exciting the match got.
Yeah, like I said, like halfway through is when... I think I pinpointed when Io got in was when it actually kind of got going, because she kind of knows her shit. So...
Bianca came in before that, and she brought out a trash can that she threw at Nia. I love a good throw the trash can in your face spot. She slams the door in Candice's face, grabs a fire extinguisher, then gets the table plus another chair. Match stays good from there.
Okay.
After that was Tiffy time. It was Tiffy time after that.
It's Tiffy time.
I got ahead.
It's Tiffy time.
It's Tiffy time.
Oh, Lord.
Did we just pick up a soundbite? Did we just pick up a soundbite?
Let's go.
Unlocked. New soundbite unlocked.
Achievement unlocked.
Here's a good old tweet that I sent, and this is what's crazy. So I sent a tweet: Vancouver crowd, tell front row guy to stop catcall whistling at the women, or we vote you get no more pay-per-views. Most mad annoyed hearing that whistle. And that was the thing, is right after I sent that, I didn't hear it anymore. And I would hear, it was like every 30 seconds it felt like at one point. It was more like every minute or so, and then it got to a point it was every 15, 30 seconds. I sent that tweet out. I feel like somebody probably read it and was like, hey, shut the up.
It was that guy from the start of the pay-per-view. You watched the pre-show, right?
Yes.
There was that guy who was like, we're going to have Vancouver, and we're going to have WrestleMania in Vancouver.
It couldn't be that. That guy was probably the one that was like, hey, you better stop.
No, that's what I meant.
Now.
He's the guy that saw your tweet and was like, hey, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
We're trying to have a WrestleMania.
I need Mania here. No, Alyssa pointed something out to me when I said that. She said, well, maybe the security went and stopped it coincidentally. I was like, that probably could be a thing. Like, hey, dude, chill out. This is really inappropriate, and these women are kicking ass in this ginormous cage. Io Sky came out next. We are to this point now. Shoots straight to the commentary side of the ring and grabs a custom trash can and starts scaling the cage.
That was amazing.
But she doesn't get to fly off right away, unfortunately. Although I thought she was about to get bombed off. And then the sunset flip thing didn't happen. I felt like that was a botch, but I didn't know. I felt like Candice didn't want to take the bump.
Either way, they played it off decently. So kudos to them.
Io Sky is just one of the best, I swear.
Yeah.
So, enters the match and just does regular damage for the moment. Raquel comes out next. More stuff happens, is all the note comes from there. But she is conducive to this match. It's not, she's irrelevant. Mommy comes out next and grabs another table.
Let's go.
A lot of pops come from Rhea Ripley
Yeah.
and tables. Back and forth action goes, and everyone falls except Rhea Ripley, of course.
It's Rhea Bloody Ripley.
Leaving her waiting for Liv Morgan when the clock hits 0 for her to enter. And then Liv appears to leave, but she doesn't. Instead, she grabs a bat.
It would have been hilarious, like,
A bedazzled bat.
if she would have tried to leave and, like, Jade, like, stops her, like, in, like, a sling or, like, a cast or something. That would have been amazing, because that's how you could have made Jade, like, look super strong. Like, even half injured in, like, a cast or something, she could still stop Liv from leaving and, like, get her back in the ring. But that's just me.
That's just him. Liv enters the match with her bedazzled bat, and bell rings to make it official. Rhea removes her protective mask that was really awesome, admittedly, and then gets jumped by Team Nia Liv.
I need to know something. Did she actually fracture her orbital bone, or is this just storyline? Because if she did, she's playing way too loose with her head.
You are the third person to ask me this, and I give the same answer every time. I don't actually know, but I'm like 80% certain she did actually break it.
And so she's just playing loose with her.
Yeah,
like,
and I would talk to one person specifically about it. Like, it is a common injury in sports to play with. That's why the protective masks are a common thing, especially when you play less face contact sports. Like, obviously, you can do MMA
Yeah.
having a broken
But,
orbital, but basketball.
a large part of her moveset is that headbutt that she
Yeah.
keeps using.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder. That's exactly what I said. It's like, I don't actually know. That's why it's 80%. But from what I understood, it was legit.
I mean, she has the on her shirt was the X-ray and everything.
I'm telling you, these men and women of today are super wrestlers. Jacob
Yeah.
Fatu, Rhea Ripley, Will Ospreay. Like, these are just like these were created in a laboratory.
Apparently.
All right, they attempt to handcuff her, Rhea Ripley, that is. But thankfully, that doesn't go down.
Let's go.
A lot more action takes place. Io and Tiffany start scaling the cage at opposite ends.
I called this, by the way.
You called this? How could you call this?
So, because Tiffany's finisher is the prettiest moonsault ever, right? Mm-hmm. And Io obviously does the over the moonsault.
Right.
I was like, Tiffany being the way she is, she's going to try and go up that cage and outshine everyone.
And you thought she was going to hit the moonsault off there?
Io is also going to do that.
Yeah, she's going to do what she does.
So, I almost called it perfectly, but I at least called them trying to duel it out.
I heard the weirdest criticism towards Io Sky on this, doing the same trash can spot. It was like, well, why can't she do something differently or, like, elevate it, add to it? I'm like, it's cool no matter what.
Yeah, like...
It's really amazing, and it's a risk. You won't just put a trash can on your head and jump off of 15,
The elevation
20 foot cage.
is the fact that she now has a rival.
Yeah.
That's the elevation.
To kind of like counter what you said, I love that it wasn't the over the moonsault that Tiffany did, but the swanton, because that the prettiest moonsault. Sorry, I get my finishers mixed up there, but that involves jumping onto the ropes and it has an elegance to it that you're not going to do with the cage. But the swanton just looks sick.
Yes,
That's
which
Tiffany
she also
Hardy
uses
right
the
there.
swanton a lot too.
Exactly,
so it
it
makes
makes
sense.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. That's what you're supposed to do. So, like I said, puts the trash can on her, moonsaults off the top, and onto half the competitors, and then the other half gets swantoned onto in the other ring by Tiffany, and it was awesome.
It was amazing.
Rightfully so. The crowd said this is awesome, and that's what you're supposed to say when awesome stuff happens. Tiffany contemplates cashing in the briefcase after that. I don't think any of us believed it. Nobody I know was like, yep, that was happening.
My reasoning here was, and it's a whole complicated mess I'm going to try and rush through.
Oh.
They kept making a point of saying a title has never changed hand here in Toronto. So I was like, or Vancouver, where were they?
Yeah.
I said, well, then the title's going to change hands. And I was like, this would be the easy one, but do you give Tiffany that accolade of being the first woman to ever cash in during War Games?
It would be really cool. It seemed so unlikely. I think it would have been cooler to do it.
It would have been.
I think when she does cash in, though, all that will be null and void.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be a really cool moment.
It's Tiffy time.
Raquel gets handcuffed by Rhea, so the handcuffs come into play.
The fact that, so, they did a little magic here, right? Io does the extinguisher everywhere, and like,
Yeah.
you're obviously not paying attention to Rhea and Raquel. So by the time you pay back attention, Raquel's handcuffed.
Yeah.
It's a little prestidigitation.
I love it. I also love table spots. Nia gets powerbombed through a
Let's
table,
go.
but doesn't get pinned. Rhea and Liv get into an exchange that ends in Liv getting a riptide through the other table, and Rhea gets the win for the odd spot. I loved that spot. I mean, I love any good table spot,
yeah.
but I think a lot of, because of Rhea Ripley not immediately beating Liv, getting the title back, and it kind of drawing out, it made a lot of sense for Rhea to dominate Liv in this.
Oh, yeah.
No questions asked. Now, tweet I sent, Rhea's still the world champion to me. It always been that way. But here's a reminder, though. Liv Morgan is the actual champion, and Io Sky is the number one contender.
I forgot.
That's the thing. And that's why I have to remind you. It's like, Io Sky coming out of this is still the number one contender. So we need to do more with that.
Part of me hopes Rhea costs Liv, Io takes the title, and Rhea and Liv go into like a blood feud.
Dude, I can only support that. I don't see it happening, but you got me on board.
It's hard to not give the title to Rhea, though, because Rhea's Rhea.
Sign me up. You can go ahead and sign me up for that one. U.S. title time. Now, did you feel like this match was justified to quick book? A lot of people hated it being quick, almost scramble booking decision with a forced build as well. But before we get into the match itself, did you think that this was forced, rushed?
I don't know. I think the story they're telling is that LA Knight is a fighting champion.
Yes.
He keeps mentioning, like, I'm not Logan Paul, I defend my championship. So I think any title defense, as quick booked as it may be, is justified by that.
Yeah.
Overarching. So not really.
Good to know. Shinsuke, here's a tweet. Shinsuke getting the coolest entrances these days, and that's something. Now get him titles.
I remember we were texting, I was like, yo, I'm vibing with the samurai thing.
I
didn't think it was as sinister, but I love samurais. I mean, I can't not love it.
Literally, I have a copy of Tales of the Samurai, like, holding this camera up right now. That's crazy. That was the hell of a sentence. Yeah, I loved that entrance, and I love Shinsuke being in this match. I don't care how it happened. As far as my opinion, like, hey, quick scramble book, whatever you want. I'm the guy who puts a title match in every match on the card. So,
and this may be a little late to say, but his gear that he's wearing now, I like it a lot more than the whole bodysuit.
I didn't like the bodysuit thing. It's
like, this feels more, it makes him look more sinister.
I remember in 2K22, I would specifically not play with the actual Nakamura and play with the King Nakamura because he had, like, his original attire, and I was like, well, that's what I like. There was one Halloween I thought about dressing up like that. That's a whole separate point. I just love Shinsuke, and that's why I didn't care how he got in this match. I was rooting for him.
Let's go. I was too, honestly.
Excuse me, choking on strong style.
Damn, it's a strong joke.
I expected a slow, hard-hitting, methodical match, and it didn't start slow, but it did turn into just that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the styles kind of dictated that it would. I think in a couple spots, Shinsuke really showed off why his moniker is the King of Strong Style. Even if he has, like, given that moniker over now, he's still always going to be that. So I feel like LA Knight, too. I feel like LA Knight had a great opportunity here to show fans some versatility in his offense and his moveset, and also his ability to put on, like, a bigger and longer match. Now, the match didn't actually go as long as I thought it would, but I feel like in the style he wrestled, it could have been LA Knight just proves in these type of matches, I can be in the main event. I can, and he has, and he delivers. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Man, think of when we started this show. My thoughts on him.
You were like, I don't get it.
Bootleg.
Yeah.
No, and it's like I was telling you, like, he can go in the ring. He's not, like, amazing or anything, but he's really solid.
Wrestlers that have proved me wrong, and that have made me grow as a wrestling fan. Donovan Dijak.
Let's go.
Yeah. And then right behind that, LA Knight.
Yeah.
The third, I don't have a third one for you yet, but Shinsuke gets an advantage after hitting Knight's head on the middle metal section. That was a hard thing. Middle metal section of the ring, in between the rings, and then hits the Kinshasa and gets the 3 count. I thought LA Knight might actually kick out of it, but that's not a finisher that gets kicked out of very often.
Yeah.
Shinsuke wins the U.S. title. I was very pleased.
And here's a funny thing I noted. I think before, when he used to hit the Kinshasa, the front hit was the kill shot.
Yeah.
The back hit used to be like, he didn't get all of it because it was in the back. Now he's hitting the back, and the back is the kill shot.
Yeah, I feel like from a logical standpoint, if you hit somebody in the back of the head, you're gonna do more damage.
Yeah, but they didn't realize that before, I guess.
Yeah.
But now it's for sure a kill shot.
Hits them on the chin and they're knocked out. No, hit them in the back of their head and they're done for.
It's funny that you bring up how LA Knight got the show off a little, because
Yeah.
I feel like Shinsuke also, from his few times wrestling since he's come back, has proven that, oh yeah, I can still go.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying, oh, Shinsuke's washed up. I don't know if it's because he's really liking this new character, this new direction, or if he knew he was going to get the title, but he feels reinvigorated.
I love him creatively right now. I love that he's getting a push. And like I said, the same thing you just said, I made the note. He proved why his moniker is the King of Strong Style. We're missed, of course. Everybody feels this way. And you take what you can get when people are being booked not the way you want. But, Shinsuke needs to be the world champion, man.
See, and that's the other thing is, like...
He should have just beat Rollins for it.
Where does LA Knight go from here, right?
Up.
Does he go to the world? So it's kind of like a bittersweet moment, because it's like, I feel like Shinsuke should be up there.
Okay.
But if LA Knight is going up there?
No, we're getting closer. And I did this last year, so I don't want to do it 2 years in a row. But at the same time, hey, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for LA Knight to win the Rumble, go to Raw, get the World Heavyweight title. That makes sense.
Here's the thing. With Netflix taking Raw and, USA taking SmackDown, right now there's this whole debate about Netflix wants all the stars. Netflix wants Cody, Netflix wants Roman, wants CM Punk. So it's like, well, who do you leave on SmackDown if
what
you do
doing
that?
with the WWE title picture?
Yeah, so I'm wondering, I think I saw some people say Cody might be losing that title to KO.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have LA Knight take the title from KO. Because I think
Potentially.
LA Knight is your biggest star with all those guys missing.
I'm going to flip it around on you because I'm from a time period where this happened and it changed the foundation of wrestling and how it was about to move forward. I've really wanted to see it happen too. It would be interesting, especially with Raw being on Netflix being such a big deal. They could hit the draft, switch those titles around, and put the World Heavyweight title on SmackDown again, put the WWE title on Raw again.
I mean, that could happen too, yeah.
And it would, having Cody and Roman and everybody on Raw with the WWE title, the title that represents the company, it makes a lot of sense to me. So I could see him go in that direction. I still think Cody's not going to hold that title for very much longer. I think by the time we get to the road to WrestleMania, probably at the Rumble even, hey, I'll put it in now, probably at the Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes will lose that title. And I think The Rock's going to be the guy to cost him, not take it, of course. I think it's going to be the guy to cost him.
I'm wondering, obviously, we have that Saturday night's main event coming with KO.
Yeah.
We'll see where that goes.
I'm so excited to cover that. That's Saturday night's main event is the thing that got me obsessed with pro wrestling as a kid. When I watched John Cena and Edge on Saturday night's main event, that's when I knew this is what I loved. So I'm really glad we're bringing it back. I'm glad to be able to have you come the next day, sit here and talk about it. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Right now we got IC title action.
It's a very cold title.
It's a very cold title.
The Intercontinental title, the IC title, as I like to call it. You didn't get the IC thing, yeah. I was rooting for Ludwig. Despite the outcome being very unlikely, I was rooting for Ludwig.
I was rooting for Sheamus.
A lot of people rooting for Sheamus going because they want to see him get that last belt. That's the only one he wants.
Right there.
He doesn't necessarily want to be the World Heavyweight Champion, though. That would be a cool look.
It would.
Braun Breaker, though, is just Braun Breaker. And he, by all accounts, in my mind, heading in, is the favorite.
Who?
Yeah.
I did one.
The dogs, they bark every day. Match only had potential to be great, in my opinion. Without getting to the finish, what were some point notes you had in this match?
So, there was a point where Sheamus took out Ludwig on the outside, and then Braun is in the ring, and he's like, "Come on, old man." That was one of my favorite parts.
Braun Breaker just flying around had me rolling. That was he was just flying around, throwing his body.
He always does this now where he flies from the apron to that table. He does that table spot. It looks brutal every time.
Man, it's fast and flies. And I sent a tweet out amidst that. I said Braun Breaker is just awesome. He is. Kaiser tries to use the shillelagh and gets hurt for trying it.
Yeah, I hate to bring this up, but when he first did the shillelagh, when he held it, when he was wiggling around, it looked very flimsy. I don't know if that was just a trick of the eye or something.
Oh,
but
man.
I was like, oh,
It's like the pencil thing.
You're breaking the immersion, my dude.
No, it's like the pencil thing. You just the pencil's not actually bending. It just looks like it's an illusion.
Fair.
Sheamus hits the bro kick and almost wins it, but Kaiser pulls the referee out, which pisses Sheamus off. Which at that point, I kind of had the feeling this is gonna be something more.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kaiser gets draws Sheamus out, and beats him with the shillelagh unmercifully.
Of course.
Finally, yeah. And to debunk your statement of how flimsy it looked, I saw the picture the day after of Sheamus's body. That thing did some damage.
Those hits, like even during the match, they did a little close up on his back, and I was like, oh, that was from the shillelagh. Oh.
I just put the picture up there. Sheamus and Kaiser fight hard for a while, giving Braun time to rest, and he hits his spears, retains the belt. I think rightfully so. His stock is rising fast.
Yeah, I like that. He now has this ability to work both sides of the spectrum, a heel and a face.
Put it in writing now. I don't have my pen and paper on me, but put it in writing now. Braun Breaker, 2027 Royal Rumble winner.
2027?
I'm making predictions that far ahead. I mean, we're booked a year in advance. Might as well.
I always put him side by side with Carmelo, right?
Yeah,
and
perfect.
I just want to say Carmelo has now faced Cody Rhodes twice in 1 year. I think Cody sees something in Carmelo, and he's asking, can I go against Carmelo again? Can I kind of,
Yeah, we all see something in him. We all think he could be that level, unfortunately, and I hope I'm wrong. I don't see them ever giving him that push. I think he's always going to be where he's at. Hey, I pray that I'm wrong. It's the same thing with Andrade. Like, I felt the same way about Andrade.
Yeah.
I was like, he'll be really cool, but they're going to never put him in a world title picture. He's never going to be the Andrade of NXT.
It's so sad.
So far, so right. Where they really dropped the balls, Malachi.
That's another subject.
Yeah. World title picture.
Speaking of.
I think I forgot this match was on the card, and that's not a great statement to make about the only world title match on a pay-per-view.
See, it's funny because I really like the story of the whole... I like Damian Priest now calling himself like a street king.
Yeah.
And Gunther's now like rocked because of his loss to Cody.
Yeah.
I like their... On one hand, like, they're humanizing Gunther. This doesn't make any sense. But I think the way they go about it isn't as bad as I would have thought it would be.
Yeah, I was about to say, going in, it made no sense. It made a lot... I will directly quote friends from another group of mine. They said, Gunther looks like a right now. They made him into a and it makes no sense. I think you could feel that way before, but once we finished talking about this match, it made more sense. And so yeah, they did something smart. It wasn't the smartest, but it made sense once the match went through. Alicia Taylor killed it with the championship introduction. That was some of her best work. She really did that. She's got a great raspy voice. Start the match off early, seeing Damian work fundamentally and do some wrestling with Gunther. Some nice arm drags.
Yeah, that was a really nice arm drag. That was a good treat, though. Someone with normal brawler type style get down and...
They were like, you don't want to wrestle with Gunther. He's like, I think I do. And the match, keep going. The match is physical as expected. Oh, yeah. Gunther dissects Priest's arm through a lot of this match. Yes. The majority of the match, Gunther's tearing his arm off.
It's funny because I get he needs the arm for the Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
But when I look at Damian, I think the first thing I see is his legs. Obviously, he has those roundhouse kicks, and I would go for the legs, but that's just me. Now, Priest fights his ass off to bounce back and almost gets a pin after hitting the Razor's Edge. But Gunther kicks out, and I feel like if he hadn't kicked out, we would have questioned some stuff. Yeah. Gunther starts to power him back down, but goes so slow at doing so that Priest actually gets time to recover. I've never seen somebody be beat down so slow that they were healing in the process. Priest botches a move off the top rope on purpose and hurts his other shoulder. Finn Balor comes out and stomps Priest. Then Gunther flies and kicks Finn Balor, rolls Priest back in the ring, and finishes him. Retains the world title. And you see Gunther in the process of all this kind of get back in his zone. Not only this, but now you have this, even though he's won this match, I think they even said it on commentary, there's a little asterisk now, right? So now he has an arc to go on. He now has to win a match on his own. Yeah. to really get the full Gunther back.
And that's why he kicked Finn, is because,
he's
hey,
pissed off.
you're interfering in something I'm trying to prove. Hit the nail on the head with that one.
I'm calling triple threat at either Saturday night's main event or Royal Rumble.
Hey, Saturday night's main event, that shit. Put all the matches on. And see, we're going to see the women's U.S. title crowning on main event, so that'll be cool. Here's something I don't have in the notes that I don't want to talk about too much, but do kind of feel like I have to say out loud. I love Gunther with that world title. It fits him. It looks good. I've felt like, okay, he holds titles for a long time. This is somebody who can hold this title for a long time, but I haven't been totally happy with his run so far. I've wanted more out of it. I guess I expected a little more.
I feel like if you're going to give it to him for a long time, you're building right now.
Yeah.
I think Dragunov was one of the biggest matches we were expecting. And even though I didn't see it happening until I was going to do it at WrestleMania, but that's just me.
Yeah.
At this point, you don't even have that choice.
I know. It's really sad to think the thought that it was going to elevate Dragunov to the world title picture, but injury, man, that's what hurts you most. It hurts him physically. But
Bate was another one that I could have seen, like, if they were going to give him some sort of push, that would have been somewhere to do it, because he's faced Gunther before. But again, he's also injured.
Yeah. Man, injuries suck.
Done. Same thing.
All right, now,
off topic.
We didn't talk about anything on the pre-show because there's nothing really to talk about on the pre-show, but there's one thing on the pre-show I want to bring up because it's conducive to what we're talking about right now. They got William Regal to do the War Games as best as he could.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a chance to try it yourself right now as we get into this men's War Games. One chance, one shot, one opportunity.
All right. War Games!
Good enough for me. I love it. The men's War Games. Did not like the starting lineup lead up into this. The intro, the starting lineup, the college football. No, it was more like NFL, but...
That was the point.
Yeah, I was not digging it.
My favorite part, though, was everyone had this stupid university name or whatever. And then, almost true to kind of how he's been portrayed, Tongaloa says an actual university.
Yeah. He's like, I went to UTEP, which, hey, that's cool. Go Miners.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was not feeling that. I felt like that was too far away from the wrestling world to... They're
slowly trying to make it more sports-like. You've seen it with some of the backstage interviews, some of the graphics and stuff they do.
Yeah, but don't directly copy football in doing that. Make it unique into its own.
I also think, Roman...
doing too much.
A lot of them have that background in football, so they probably, maybe they asked for it.
Yeah.
Maybe they,
Hey, I'm letting you guys know it was a stupid idea. And, like, this is why the diehard fans of AEW come at the what do they call them? The drones?
Yes.
The
E-drones. E-drones.
This is why it gets that way, because it's like, dude, y'all are taken away from wrestling by doing shit like this, and we're reviving it. And so that's not my take. I'm voicing the people's.
I can get that, but I think there's more than one type of wrestling, obviously.
Yeah.
Whole other topic.
There's the types that I don't want to talk about.
Oh, Lord.
Tama Tonga starts for the Beta Bloodline.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I love it.
It's one of his character, and that is one of my least favorite things going on in wrestling today.
Why?
Just irritates me. But it annoys
That's fair.
I don't like the whole I'm a jackal thing.
You don't like the fact that he was literally scaling and like
my great uncle wrestled as a hockey player.
Climbing the stage, climbing the cage all around. Well, that was amazing.
No. What? Not for me. Michael Cole bringing up the Punjabi prison for no reason.
I didn't even notice.
You didn't? What? Yeah. During the War Games intro, the entrances, he brought up the Punjabi prison for no reason.
Michael, we block out some things for a reason.
Yeah, they just ended up laughing about it. Jey Uso starts the match for the CMOTC Punk line.
What? Oh, wait, I get it. Okay, hold on. It took me a second.
I rolled it right off the tongue, too. I was worried going into this show that I was going to trip up on that, because I studied
a lot. You got it. You nailed it.
CMOTC Punk line.
Sorry.
Match starts hella slow. But The first 2 minutes is just them looking at each other, so...
Not really 2 minutes, but exaggeration, I get it.
Can I exaggerate? Maybe. But it felt like a whole 2 minutes. They do start fighting, though, and Tama gets the upper hand before Bronson Reed marches on down and grabs many chairs, which results in Jey Uso throwing them at Bronson Reed's face, which did nothing but anger him.
I just want to say, first of all...
everything.
I've missed it. The fact they put Jay in first.
Yeah.
I think that proves how big he kind of is.
Yeah.
Also, I felt sorry for him. Because when Tama got in, I was like, okay, Tonga Loa will come in next, and it'll be alright.
Yeah, we all thought.
And then Bronson Reed, I think that was the least person you wanted to be in there with 2-on-1.
Swerve him a little bit.
I think that's the least person anyone wants to meet anywhere.
Swerve him. Tama tries to get a pinfall, and the crowd lets him know that he up, and that's not how this works. Thought that was noteworthy.
I didn't notice, and that's funny.
You missed a lot, man. The Punjabi prison thing. Okay, you don't have to listen to Michael Cole, though. It'd be great to interview that guy sometime. He's seen a lot of shit. The fact that you missed the pinfall and the crowd letting him know that they said you up a lot of times.
I heard them say that, but I didn't know that was what it was for. I guess I don't know.
I'm going to be working my ass off to censor this episode in editing.
You will.
At least I didn't have to get the chant itself. So, lead episodes when I got to cut the crowd out, that's hard.
Ugh.
Jim Uso comes out next and enters directly in to save his brother. No weapons needed. He does hit a whisper in the wind, though.
It wasn't even like... It was like a phoenix splash whisper
It was a phoenix in the wind.
Like, and even my brother was like, you didn't know he could do that, did you? And I'm like, I didn't.
Who did? I sent out a tweet. Jimmy Uso hit the whisper in the wind, calling Jeffrey Uso or Jimmy Hardy, whichever you prefer. I like Jeffrey Uso. So, another one. Anyone else hear that? Tama Tonga sucks. I second that in the crowd.
I could have sworn they said Tonga Loa sucks.
Okay, yes. Next tweet. Homie, Jordy Mack said Tonga Loa, not Tama Tonga. I did get them mixed up in the moment, but still.
I mean...
Hearing that was just hilarious.
He wasn't even in the match, but you know...
I second that. Yeah, so thank you, Jordy Mack, for correcting me. I'll hit that follow button next time I'm on the tweet. Jacob Fatu comes out and wrecks shop as expected. Crowd chants "Love You Solo" while he does it. I always think it's you Solo, but no, I listened closely. It was "Love You Solo."
I love you, Solo.
Yeah. CM Punk attempts to go out next, but Roman stops him and tells Sammy to go. I think that's a smart move, honestly. And I sent the tweet out to accompany that.
That makes sense, but also the point is that Roman does not trust Punk enough to let him go in before.
Yeah, he's got his own reason. It was just smart for the reasoning of like, dude, Punk, you don't need to be in War Games. It's not a thing like, I'm not even talking about it doesn't make sense. I'm talking about his body, his fragile blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to, copy someone else's promo, but I say this as somebody who only has admiration and respect for CM Punk. I don't have to agree with him. We'll go on this every single time. I don't have to agree with him. I respect him. I'm cheering for him a lot of the times because everything he's accomplished and changed in wrestling. For that fact, I don't want to see him go into a War Games match and get injured and sacrifice WrestleMania.
It's funny because they mentioned it, like, his last match was the Hell in a Cell match.
Exactly.
Like, who does this? Like, why?
Phil does this.
That's fair.
And he's not being fair to himself. It's one of those things like, you know what? You can be a jackass, but don't go and hurt yourself in the process of being one because you're worth money. And I think CM Punk at WrestleMania is a big deal. And I'm changing my answer. CM Punk's win the Royal Rumble. What? Fine. I said it. It'll come down to LA Knight, Braun Breaker, CM Punk. Braun's going to eliminate LA Knight recklessly. CM Punk's going to put Braun over, write all of it down. I want it all on paper. I'll sign it. This is the ending of the 2025
I would
Rumble.
rather John Cena win the Royal Rumble than I would have. So.
Quote this in Season 4. Now, see, I wouldn't mind that. Yeah. All right, back to this War Games match. We'll talk about the Rumble when it's Season 4. That'll be the start of the Rumble. Sammy tries to go to work but gets overpowered.
He's fine.
Tongaloa comes out next to a rain of booze. He brings out a table to get a cheap pop, but let's acknowledge that the table got the pop and not Tongaloa. Send out another tweet. All right. Beta Bloodline predominantly dominated the match still from there. Like, a lot of this match is them raining down beatings.
I mean, they do have the advantage, so.
They used it well. Roman, and see, even when the odds got evened, it didn't matter.
Because, I mean, here's something I wrote. Okay, I gotta pull it out here.
Rip the notepad.
Yeah, basically, Jacob. So when it was Jacob and or when it was Bronson and Tom at the beginning, they were already at a 5-on-1 advantage because there's Bronson counting for 2.
It's okay. I'm just gonna improve my point from earlier.
There's Tama Tonga, and there's the 2 voices in Tama Tonga's head.
Oh my god.
So I mean, eventually by the end you have like 10 on 5 basically. We're doing Steiner math now. Sorry guys.
Hey, that's one of my favorite promos of all time, and I'm glad they could see that and understand that the shillelagh was as hard as a rock. Show the picture of Sheamus' body again. Roman goes to come out next, and Punk steps in front of him. He goes down to the Savage-filled ring, and he grabs a toolbox.
Smart idea.
Starts beating everyone down with it, especially Tongaloa. He got beat the out of with the toolbox. Punk goes off, bulldogs Jacob Fatu onto the toolbox even, and Fatu no-sells it and gets up.
Yeah.
So, no beta anymore, Bloodline. Back on top. They're not beta anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and drop that one.
Yeah.
Solo enters. This is when you know hell is frozen over. Solo is actually running this. Solo tells Roman before he enters the cage, I'm about to show you what a tribal chief is. He then goes and slams the cage door on some heads.
Honestly,
I don't know if it was everybody's, but
it was hard. It went hard, I'm not gonna lie.
As well as grabbing a chain to bring in. Scary scene. They dominate the match before Roman could get into it, even jumping Punk in a 5-on-1 beatdown. Then they lock the door 20 seconds before Roman is supposed to enter.
I think Solo earned his stripes this day.
So, of course, Roman has to climb in, fight everyone on the way up and over. He does that, though.
He does.
He's Roman Reigns. It is what it is. War Games officially starts, but they don't ring the bell until Paul Heyman comes out and screams War Games. So,
that was the second best War Games of the night. I'm sorry, William, you were third.
I thought you meant second best War Games of the night match-wise. I was like, we'll have this discussion later. He was pleading with Punk and Reigns to work together, though. I was suspecting he was working for Solo out of fear. The whole time, I was in the party of like, Paul Heyman's up to something. And he's wearing red for a reason. And I was reading too into it. Like most were. I was just reading.
Maybe that was the point, though. Maybe that was Paul's idea.
Ooh.
To get us fooled.
Man, Paul is so smart.
He is.
Roman accidentally spears Punk when all seems like it's all right for the CMOTC Punk Line team. Jacob Fatu botches a moonsault attempt and hurts his knee, and we were talking about this during a pre-show taping. This was off the record, but also on the record. He hurt his knee. You can tell me it's a work if you want to. I'm not believing you.
I don't know. Maybe. So here's the thing. He does this. He's done this before with the table spot, and like people were like, "Is it a work? Is it not?" He came back really soon after that, and it's like, well, your point was that he's a machine. He was created in a test lab or some sort or whatever, and like
the whole lot of them were.
But I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see tomorrow. We'll see tonight. We'll see Friday, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say Friday.
Bronson Reed attempts a tsunami to Reigns from the top of the cage, and CM Punk saves him. Whoa.
But not Bronson Reed's ankles.
Whoa. No. Chaos of back and forth moves occur that all leads to the Usos hitting the 1D and the crowd popping.
Such a pop.
You kind of forget it's been a while since you've seen that. It's so natural looking. It's so organic when the Usos work together that I didn't even remember. More action. Jimmy Uso goes to the top of the cage and splashes onto Jacob through the table. Loved that spot.
Breaks his toe.
Yeah, from a broken toe from what I hear. Sammy helps the Usos up. They then help Roman and Punk up. Say, let's finish this shit. Then they surround Solo.
Best image of the night.
Yeah, they dominate him with all the moves. And the CMOTC Blood Punk line of favors win the exhilarating match. It was exhilarating, and admittingly, I don't know if anybody else, probably, I'm not the only one that felt this way, in that moment, Solo surrounded, you just have to feel like something else is going to happen, like somebody's turning somewhere. Jimmy Uso attacks Jey Uso, CM Punk says, this.
See, there were multiple times in the match where I was like, CM Punk's going to do his own thing.
Yeah.
CM Punk's about to mess it up for everyone.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's always like, I don't know, maybe Rock found some time. Maybe Rock's going to show up and, I don't know, nothing happened.
He'll just put himself... Yeah, nothing happened other than they beat his ass and won the match. And I said on a tweet, hey, it may not have been made the most sense going in, but that match delivered.
It was a really good match, yeah.
Yeah. Excuse me. It was a really great match. I enjoyed it. I thought there was going to be many swerves, so it was always keeping me on the edge of my seat. Punk and Roman shake hands after the match. Heyman nods in approval. Punk reminds Heyman of the favor. No, we don't know what the favor is. Roman acknowledges Paul with a soft hand on the cheek. It was the most gentle touch. What's the favor, though?
I have a theory.
Okay.
It's a small theory. Number 30 in the Rumble.
Buckle up, Teddy.
I feel like that's too small of a favor.
You think that's too small of a
For
favor?
CM Punk and Paul Heyman, that is too small of a favor. I think the favor has to be something huge, like... it's so hard because, I mean, Roman's not in a title picture, but he's always going to be in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
Think about it. You feel like, okay, when Roman wins, Punk gets first shot, something like that. That's what gets me intrigued on it. It's like, I really couldn't put a finger on it because nothing makes sense right now. And that's why it's a long-term favor. Something has to happen for the favor to get cashed in.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the favor's like, hey, I need you to escort me out to the main event of WrestleMania. Who knows?
The favor is that he wants him to go walk around and do the same thing Jacob does for Solo. I love you, Punk.
What if... Whoa. What if the favor that CM Punk is going to ask Paul Heyman is when all of this bloodline stuff is settled, he's going to ask Paul Heyman to not be the wise man anymore.
Oh my god.
He's going to ask him, the favor is I can't have you as the wise man anymore. You're going to be my manager for the rest of my career. That's where I'm going right now. That's as best as I got.
Or what if it's like the formation of a new Shield?
No thinking.
No.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, no. I'm gonna deep rail that before it even gets on track. Final note in tweet form: I really miss traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination matches. I get it, can only fit so much on a card, and War Games is awesome, but it'd be nice to at least have one on there or something. Like, I just miss the 5-on-5 elimination.
So I know a lot of people are now starting to get into that mindset. I think the solution here is you move War Games and you bring Survivor Series back for like a year.
Yeah.
And you gauge.
I'm gonna one-up you. Bring Survivor Series back the way it is. Put War Games back at NXT. NXT War Games was the shit, and they had the best War Games.
That is true, but I feel like the way they hyped it up, because one thing I did notice during the pre-show, they really hyped up the match.
Yeah.
They really hyped them up to the point where they're like a big deal now. A really, 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 really big deal, like on a global scale almost. So I think if they put it back down in NXT now, it would be almost, I don't want to say a step backwards, but it's not something I think they would want to do, is what I'm trying to say.
Fair enough. If it comes from the NXT guy, it has to be a valid opinion. Now, final pay-per-view thought. Did it have a great build? No. Did not have a great build. Do I miss traditional Survivor Series elimination matches? Yes. So points are deducted automatically for those things right there. War Games matches didn't make too much sense going in, but delivered, and the men's makes more sense now coming out of it than it did going in. Think Nakamura getting the push was a good feeling. Think it didn't totally suck or drag out. The pay-per-view, that is. It didn't totally suck or drag out. I'm giving it a 3-star for this reason. 3-star pay-per-view, and it's firm. 3-star firm, because any debate to it, I feel like I start to go lower. Didn't totally suck, but it was carried heavily by that main event. The main event not being what it is would make it way less.
Okay, so coming out of it, I said this was a good pay-per-view. That was about as high as I could put it. And the reason I say that is because the last pay-per-view I feel was stronger than the last one to me. I don't know why. So that being said, I think I did like 3.5 last pay-per-view maybe. So 3.7. Like I can't put it at 4.
Yeah, no. I would judge you heavily if you rated it that high. Even having it higher than 3, I'm like,
But I will say, normally the women's War Games goes harder than the men's.
Yeah.
That was not the case this year.
The case this time.
They did, like, halfway through, like I said, they went hard. But that lead up was so, like, just from all the missed chair shots, a couple of botches, everything felt...
The chair shots got dragged on the internet.
It felt like, especially Nia, were holding back. And I get Nia holding back. She doesn't... Even though her character portrays that it doesn't bother her, I imagine getting dragged online for years on end is going to bother you at some point.
Oh, that was a good stretch. That was one of those stretches where, like, everything just went out. Yeah, so, to end this beautiful episode, this fun Survivor Series episode, I'm going to read a text that I sent Jeff amidst the pay-per-view. Now, I said...
Oh my god.
You ever get so baked while watching wrestling that you, like, start seeing past the fourth wall and can't stop? And you start wondering shit like, why are they fighting in a cage? Like, why do we get excited by the cages? And for the wrestlers, how do they get excited to get booked to wrestle inside and on top of a cage? Do they get there? Do they sit there and are they like, wow, this is going to be really fun, or I'm so excited for this? I was just really in my head about, like, why are cages so exciting? And then I watched War Games and forgot all about that. It's like, oh, this is so fun.
I don't know if you want me to elaborate on that or not, but I could.
You can elaborate. We're going off the air. Elaborate.
Okay, so really quickly, the why we love cages, we're savages. Even Barrett said it.
Yeah.
The reason they want to be in this, especially the War Games match, is the prestige, the legacy of this match. Obviously, Dusty Rhodes and like everyone. And you want to do everything in your career, obviously. Like, being in a War Games, I think a couple of wrestlers even said it. That was, like, a thing to check off the bucket list.
Yeah.
And that's why.
Fair enough.